Hi, everyone. Henry DeVries from Agency Rainmaker TV. This is the TV show where we help agency owners make it rain with right fit clients. So we always like to get a look into people who are doing that. And I have Jarrod Lopiccolo with me today. Jarrod, how are you today?
I'm good, Henry. Very good. I'm glad we're having this conversation. How are you?
Excellent. Now that you're here, I want to hear about uh, who you are and who you serve.
Yeah. So my name's Jarrod Lopiccolo. You got the name right, so thank you for that. And I would like to say that I'm a digital architect. I actually went to school for architecture, and the whole idea was really crafting, for the human experience. And I just really gravitated towards the internet, right? And the idea that we are not just users or sessions, but they're actually real people that have intent and have needs. And so I just love the fact that we get to work with clients, helping craft their brand stories, and really connecting people's needs with companies and brands.
Well, that's great. Is there a certain niche you serve, or who do you serve?
Yeah, we do. So over the time, we've been doing this for 22 years now, and we really kind of grew as like a digital agency. Now we're a full brand, full brand advertisement marketing agency. We have found that about 55% of our revenue or effort, if you will, we put towards the travel and tourism industry. And I think we just got enamored in the product that they sell, right? They're really selling memories and experiences and things you take with you for the rest of your life. So that's kind of a big focus of our area.
Well, you're headquartered in the Reno, Carson City, Lake Tahoe area. A lot of tourism in the state of Nevada, but do you go to California and other states to
We
promote?
do. Yeah, we do. In fact, about probably a big portion of probably 50% of our travel and tourism clients reside on the West Coast. And a lot of those are in California. So we work with Yosemite, we work with Lake Tahoe is a big client of ours. And actually, the entire state of Nevada, as you mentioned, it's a very tourism driven state. It's probably our number one economy. We work with the entire state itself and really attracting those kind of visitors to come in and hopefully play and stay a lot longer than they expected.
No. Well, you get my money for a cabin every year in Yosemite, so
Yes,
maybe you're
it's
doing something
working.
right.
All right, I'll tell our client that. Thank you.
Yes. Um, well, let's talk about how you make it rain both for your clients and how you make it rain for the agency.
Yeah, I think over time, I do really enjoy talking about this because I feel that I always talk about people being the variable, right? It's something that every company has, and it's usually their secret weapon or their differentiator is the culture or the people that you work with. And so I like to think about meaningful connections, and really what that is like myself or the agency. A lot of our business is brought in by the fact that I'll speak and go to conferences or speak at universities, or I'll talk with prospects, and ultimately when they decide to actually work with us is because we've had an authentic connection over something, and it's that chemistry that really bonds us. And I feel like in general, not just more than ever do we need this now, but we just need those deep, meaningful connections, because when you finish the work, it's what you remember most is that connection you had with someone. And so that is truly how we make it rain, if you will, at Noble Studios, is just building deep, authentic connections. Don't sell first, right? Like find something in common. And then oftentimes what you'll find is that other person or that connection has similar interests and similar needs, and then that's when the actual the sort of sales happens, is post that initial authentic connection. And we try to do that with the brands we work with as well. How do you create a deeper connection with your consumer or your customer? Because as you know, right, a one-time purchase is quite expensive to garner, but when you get that repeat purchase or that repeat visitation, that's when it really matters most.
Yeah. When I teach people storytelling or I teach book writing, I always say there's four things you need to do. You need to make people think, you need
Yes,
to make people feel, you need to make people laugh, and you
yes.
need to make people feel noble. So I always
Ah,
love your name with noble because
well,
there's nobility in a lot of what we do. Um, let's go to that. You get booked as a speaker.
yeah.
That's easier said than done. How do you get booked as a speaker?
Yeah, well, so actually, ironically, tomorrow I'll be speaking for the NYU graduate course, and they're teaching on tourism planning, and you could easily, you know, uh, you know, just talk about tourism and how it helps boost the local economic impacts and the value it is. But really, when you think about why you would want to be teaching someone is so they can walk away with a different perspective. And so tomorrow, I'll be talking about the sort of interconnected disciplinary relationships that exist around tourism, right? Whether it's government and planning, or it's
Yeah.
hotels and attractions, or it's the visitor, or it's the residents. And when you can see, and maybe that's part of that architecture, upbringing that I had, but when you can see all of those connections, I think that's when the true magic happens. And so oftentimes I like to come a little bit deeper than just sort of bringing a charismatic, funny, sort of friendly approach to teaching. But it's actually when they can walk away with something of value, maybe a different perspective they never heard before. And so now my brand is out there to where, I'll bring these really great fun stories, and over the course of 22 years, you collect those fun stories and those life-changing moments. But I think it's really bringing that different perspective that they wouldn't get out of a book. They wouldn't get it from a professor that maybe has only been a teacher their entire life and whatnot.
So I'm going to go deeper on NYU.
Please,
So that's
yeah.
going to be an online. You're going to be online talking
It
to them.
is, yeah, yeah. I was meant to be in New York. Well, I was there a few weeks ago, and then I was meant to be there again, and then we just decided let's not move the class. And so there's quite a few hundred people that I'll be speaking to, which is always a little nerve-wracking at first. But when you realize they're there to learn something, and it's really not about you as the teacher, it's about what they can walk away with.
Yeah.
That's when you can switch, right? I do a lot of moderating as well with panels, and when you have to remember, it's not about you as a panel member. Your job is to really unlock these individuals and all of their knowledge that they have, and make them shine like rock stars as well, and get their point of view across to the table and the audience. And so I enjoy that just so much, is when someone can walk away saying, you know what, I never thought of it that way, or I've never even considered that before, and now they have a different life perspective on that topic.
So you're preaching to the choir.
Yeah.
I'm a former professor and assistant dean for continuing education at the University of California, San Diego.
Oh,
And my
yes.
daughter, Carla, got her graduate degree and went on to be a professor and a museum director from
Yes.
NYU. So
Oh, that's great.
we're familiar with the purple robes that they wear there. So, but you hit upon it, and it's also a college audience, and people will ask
It
me,
is.
I don't know, for some reason they sort of mistake a college audience as somebody who's not connected to business, but
Oh, right.
um,
Yeah.
they are very, especially if a company has paid money to send them, and the other nature of how people get there and vote for that. Um, well, we're almost out of time. Jarrod, is there anything that I didn't ask or you wanted to share?
Well, I just think that, one of the things that I've learned over the years, and this is just by having so many deep, connected relationships. I would just say anyone that's out there exploring something new, whether it's a new business or a new topic or a new job or a new relationship, I think it's really important that we always stay curious and that we lead with asking for advice. I oftentimes say when you ask for advice, you get opportunity. And if you ask for opportunity, oftentimes you get advice. And so just, stay humble, stay curious. The world is out there for you. People want to pay it forward. They want to teach you what they've learned over their years, and that's really kind of in my I'm 45 right now, and that's where I'm shining the most right now in my career, is that I'm able to take all these sort of experiences, still stay curious, still learn, but also impart that knowledge that I've gained over the years, because you just I don't know, with us all being now online and connected, I think more than ever, it's important that we just stay curious and keep learning, because there's so much to learn out there. So
It's a wonderful age. Well,
yes, it is.
until
Thank you.
next time, want to encourage everybody to stay tuned and make it rain,
Make it rain. I love it.
and we're out.
Cool.
Okay, so one more thing to do, Jarrod.
Please.